Ladies and gentlemen, you may well have already heard that alcohol is one of the leading preventable causes of death in the USA. But do you know how many years on average each drinker can expect to lose from drinking alcohol? Well, the figure is actually enormous. And it's so large that if you add up the total number of life years that drinkers lose, it's actually not that far off from the corresponding number for smokers. So today we're going to be breaking down how many years a drinker loses, and you'll also find out what specific kind of alcohol deaths account for the most life years lost, as well as how much wasted money this translates into. And I'm also going to give you the dollar figure for every single drink consumed. And if you're still drinking alcohol or thinking of stopping drinking, then this video could be the most important 10 minutes of your life. So please watch this in full. Just before we get into the video, if you want to get access to the free video training showing you how to control your drinking without AA or willpower, click the link in the description. I'll be showing you how to use the mental model called First Principles Thinking to get control of your drinking. I'll be talking about the 5 critical mistakes that 90% of drinkers make, and I'll also be sharing the 2 phases of becoming sober clear. You do not want to miss that training video. It will change your mindset around drinking forever so you can start getting your health, career, confidence, and relationships back on track. Click the link in the description for instant access. So, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, alcohol every year claims the lives of a whopping 140,000 Americans. In this respect, it follows far behind tobacco, which kills an estimated 480,000 Americans a year. But these numbers don't give the full picture. To get the full picture, we actually need to look at the average numbers of years lost from every alcohol and tobacco death. And here, alcohol comes on top by a wide margin. So, according to the CDC, alcohol shortened the lives of those who killed it by an average of 26 years. In other words, drinkers who die because of their drinking will die on average 26 years younger to what they would if they didn't drink. The average life expectancy in the US is 79, meaning somebody who loses their life to alcohol will typically pass away at only 53 years of age. This compares to only 10 average lost life years for tobacco, meaning somebody who dies from their tobacco addiction will die on average at 69 years of age. So while tobacco claims around 3.4 times the number of lives, alcohol will take away 2.6 times more life years for each one of those casualties. Meaning that in terms of total life years lost, alcohol is not that much better than smoking, which we all recognize as one of the most unhealthy things on the planet. Now, alcohol claims around 3.6 million years of potential life years annually compared to 4.8 million years for smoking. That is pretty shocking stuff. So the CDC offers a very useful breakdown of drinkers' lost life years by age group. In other words, how many millions of life years the people that died from alcohol at a specific age group lost. For example, those that died between the ages of 35 to 49 or 50 to 64. Unsurprisingly, people who die in their middle years make up for the large majority of lost life years. That's because most deaths from alcohol are from chronic use, meaning very few young people will die from it. On the other hand, while you may have many older people dying from drinking, each of these will be at the end of their lifespan, so they won't be losing that many life years. You can see this in the last row on this table from the CDC report. Those in the 50 to 64 age bracket account for the most lost life years, slightly over 1 million. They are followed closely by those in the 20 to 34 and 35 to 49 age bracket. Those older than 65 or younger than 19 account for far fewer lost life years. So, the CDC breaks down the causes of death into chronic, or long-term, versus acute, or short-term. The chronic category is exclusively disease-related, whereas the acute category also has deaths from other causes like violent deaths and car crashes. Somewhat surprisingly, the acute deaths account for more lost life years. 1.97 million life years are lost to acute causes compared to 1.61 million lost to chronic disease. Here is the acute causes breakdown in terms of lost life years. Alcohol-related poisoning, 741,000. Suicide, 372,000. Motor vehicle crashes, 326,000. Various acute causes, for example, falls, homicides, accidents, 534,000. Now, while alcohol-related poisonings lead this category, the large majority of these deaths are not due to alcohol toxicity. While alcohol and its metabolites are quite toxic, it's actually very difficult to overdose on alcohol. The reason being that in higher doses, alcohol is a powerful sedative. So it's likely that people will pass out way before they can actually drink themselves to death. What alcohol does do, however, is cloud your judgment and remove your inhibitions. This can lead to overdoses from other substances, most notably cocaine and other illicit drugs. When it comes to life years lost from chronic causes, alcohol-specific diseases, for example, alcohol cardiomyopathy or fetal alcohol syndrome, 854,000, heart disease and stroke, 319,000, liver, gallbladder and pancreas, 209,000, cancer, 207,000. What about sex? Well, men will lose the large bulk of life years from alcohol, namely 2.5 million. Women will lose the remaining 1 million. One striking difference is in the distribution of these lost life years across chronic and acute causes. Men lose far more life years from acute causes, namely 1.44 million years compared to 1.05 for chronic. For women, though, there is hardly any difference. Women lose 557,000 years from chronic causes compared to 532,000 years from acute. The difference reflects the fact that men are far more likely to get involved in violent or dangerous activities. Things like car crashes, homicides, and risky behaviors, all of which disproportionately affect younger ages and lead to more lost life years. So, how much does all of this cost? As you might have guessed it at this point, the costs from all this disease and premature death add up to staggering totals. The CDC estimates that the costs of alcohol to the US economy are $250 billion every single year. If you divide this by the total number of drinks consumed, this works out to an incredible $2.05 per drink. For most drinks, that's easily more than their sticker price. This is the invisible tax paid at the back end, and it's paid not only by drinkers themselves, but also shouldered to some extent by all of society. The CDC estimates that lost workplace productivity makes up the large bulk of these costs at 72% of the total. Now, this makes sense when you consider what we just saw, that people in the middle parts of their life lose the most life years, not the very young or the very old. These are the people that have gone through a minimum of 12 years of public schooling, often followed by a further 3 or 4 years of higher education, at a cost for each person of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then they prematurely die, depriving the economy of several decades of productive input. After lost workplace productivity, the second largest category of costs is healthcare at 11%, followed by law enforcement and criminal justice expenses at 10%, and finally motor vehicle crashes at 5%. I know this is a difficult subject, and if you've lost anybody from alcohol, I just deeply want to say that I'm sorry for your loss. But if you're still trying to figure things out on your journey, you've got this. Keep going. Have a great day.